Good afternoon and welcome to another exciting edition of StandPoint. I am Veronica Danik-Boy. Quite a lot has happened in our dear nation, Nigeria, and today on the show, we will be focusing on the state of the nation. I have a special guest in the studio, and he is none other than the spiritual leader and self-acclaimed perfect living master, Guru Maharaji. Glad to have you in the studio.
Blessings to everyone.
Well, one might not be wrong to say Nigerians aren't having the best of times at the moment. Civil servants can barely afford to feed comfortably now because most of them have not been paid salaries for months. There's still a huge infrastructure deficit in different sectors, from health, education, works, and the likes. What really is your take on the state of the nation? That question is for you, but then let me start this way. 57 years. We are still being plagued by illiteracy, hunger, famine, diseases, poverty, different things. And you wonder, 57 years, are we ever going to grow out of this?
First and foremost, I'd like, on behalf of the One Love family, indeed, all Nigerians, to observe some few seconds of silence on behalf of our dear brother and friend and son, Jide, who lost his life 3 days ago. Yes, I'm in love with the leader of the APC, so this sad event really affects all of us. Please, a minute silence, wherever you may be, all over the globe. So, blessings to everyone once again. The question is, where do we go? Well, the question is something that has been changing time after time, generation after generations.
Yeah.
To try to find an answer to this, you have to go beyond. From 57 years ago, beyond even till, you say, 1896, when Europeans entered here. Before they came in, we're practicing what we call Africanocracy. Ijoba, not Ijo Ojelu, Ijoba government, where it was participatory. The common man was being taken into consideration in everything that was being done. But with the advent of politics, the nationalists, they tried their best, Papa Zik, Awolowo and co. But within the line, nationalism fell into national interest, where everybody started grabbing his own, forgetting that the institutions are meant to harness the values or intrinsic powers within each everyone. And so today we find ourselves where we are divided. Of course, there are parties to go into elections and all that. But what is important is, developing the ordinary man on the street. Yes, from home. That is where education comes in. And true education has to evolve from our culture, our tradition, whereby once the tradition and culture is there, everybody will have the spirit of togetherness, working together. And so today it seems like gradually we are now divided on tribal and religious sentiments because our inability to connect from the past has made us become unproductive, whereas we were very productive before the Oyinbo man came.
Sorry to butt in here. Why is it seemingly difficult for us to connect with the past if, from your explanations, the past is what would have brought us together?
Oh yes, I mean, it's difficult because right now nobody has the spirit of standing up to say, hey, let's go back, rather than people are building houses, buying cars, but not finding out how and why we became slaves. Why did we lose the power? We were leading the whole world. Why? Why did we not become third-class people? What are their relics? So many things that will show that, yes, we can do more than what we are doing now. So there's need to go back. If you say why, the question is, we have not got leaders who will be able to stand and say, okay, oh yeah, let's go back to our culture. Let's go to 1976, the Africa, the World Black Festival, Arts Festival in Festac. We saw the powers that they exhibited, they showed. If we had followed it up, perhaps today we would have been building our own aircrafts. Because definitely the culture will lead to what? Taking into account our deities, our oracles. Yes, because they are spiritual. And there's nothing you can do without the spiritual power. It's fake.
But how would that translate into the issues that I mentioned earlier being resolved? Talking about hunger, talking about famine, talking about illiteracy, and the likes.
Simply that we must be accountable. You don't put a building down for a school and you allow the school to run. You must find out. Well, I would say first and foremost, we should go into languages. In Yoruba, in Yoruba land must use Yoruba to train the children. If you go into Yoruba, the same way with Igbo, the same way with Calabar, and so on. And so you find out that when you go through the lingua franca, there are secrets that are not known now that will be coming out. Because the spirits now even will come to teach us what has to be done to make sure that, there's peace, there's love and harmony. Now, for example, a Nigerian goes abroad, a Yoruba man, he comes back. Now he's not eating eba anymore. He's not taking ogi anymore. He's not eating akpu. Now he goes with conflicts, imported foods. Now, all these imported food, we might call it hybrid. They are the cause of the present sicknesses, illnesses we are having, because they are more or less not original. And don't forget, there's something called the Star Wars going on, where the European wants to continue to hold the black man down, right? And these are coming in through so many things that we don't have anything to, try to examine to know whether they are true or not true. So all we need leaders who will be able to stand up and say, look, let's go back to our culture. In the culture, we start from discipline, respect for the rule of law, so that everybody will be free that, okay, if I'm going to a judge, I know that he's not going to play any hanky-panky. If I go to the police will act in accordance with the rights. And that is where swearing in of, or when somebody becomes maybe a minister or head of department, you give him a besu to swear. Or Ogun, he knows that if he messes up within 7 days,
he's gone.
So he'll be okay. That is the beginning. When the energy is pure within man, the creator will be able to come in. The invention becomes a natural thing. But when there's no discipline, we can't tap from God.
Okay, now you would recall that there has been clamors for cessation and the drumbeat for this call has been very loud to the extent that some have said that they want to separate. Others say if we are not restructuring, give us Oodua Republic. And others have come out to say that the peace or the unity of the nation is not negotiable. Now, with all of this that you have said, do you think that this will settle or this will put to rest the agitations in the minds of people with regards to, you mentioned earlier that it was a participatory kind of government in the earlier times.
Yes.
So would that put to rest all these agitations and clamors for restructuring and all of it?
Yes, Yes, so many ways. Like, for example, there's a job of electrical engineer on the ground. There's somebody who has a Bachelor of Science, somebody PhD, the other one has MA, and the other one says his certificate is federal character, and he's the one that gets the job. He doesn't know anything. And so where do you recognize merit there? And where do you recognize, the work ethics that will make the country survive, and the company survive? So today, all we are saying is that the agitation here and there is because of injustice. It's because of inequality, unequal distribution of wealth. How do you say today we have a minister for justice, at the same time he's the attorney general? You can't mix the two. Either he faced his political career, justice minister, attorney general is to make sure that the laws are followed. So you can even question, like what is going on even in America now, where they are querying the president. Here you can't do that. You can't do that to a minister, because tomorrow you might find yourself losing your job. And so today we are telling them that, look, if Igbo man, out of what his mistakes, went to war, and he said no more war, let's give Igbo man a right. Look at Aba Road, Aba to Port Harcourt Road, Aba to Onitsha Road. And there are many roads being done, but this is a commercially, busy road, like Lagos to Benin. They are busy road, like Ibadan to Lagos to Ibadan. In fact, I'm being told that because Guru is there, that's why they have not been able to make the road. But then, it's something that will have to be done. The moment there is equal distribution and the laws are followed, the constitutions are followed to the letter, nobody will ask for separation.
But some have said that the Constitution is actually the cause of the problem. When you look at certain things that are in the exclusive list and talking about states not being able to handle certain resources within the state. So if we follow the Constitution, some are saying that this is actually bringing the division.
We woke up overnight to find that, there's a military constitution on the floor. And they confirmed by President Goodluck, ex-president, and many other things. I'll help to illustrate, explain, and expatiate on the steps that can be taken. It is the will now we need from the politicians. And that's where I come in. As a spiritual father, my duty is to service their hearts, to create a situation where there will be dialogue. And I believe that the dialogue is on now, whereby with time, Nigerians will not go to war, they will not break, but I'll make them to sit on the table to come together so that a new framework can be made, so that the ordinary Nigerian will not see himself as Igbo, Hausa, Chekri. I have a daughter, a doctor for that matter, who applied for a job somewhere in Kano, and the vacancy was there. But because it's a Yoruba man, even where her name is Islamic name, you couldn't say no way there. So you can see that a situation where the other man is afraid of the other person, not because of being a Nigerian, but the fact that the God of Islam said he's a kafiri, he's non-believer. What has he got to do? There's a constitution that will guide everybody. In the company, there are rules and laws. Anybody who can perform well will be given his merits, his rights. So this is the situation we are, that we are calling on the clerics or the men of God to sit down and stop aiding and abetting them. Because it is they who will pray for you when you get there. It's they who will pray for you when things go bad. They have no responsibility. So we have to go beyond religious or tribal sentiments to hold the real thing that as Nigerians, the West gave up themselves, the East gave up themselves to make a project called Nigeria, where tribalism, religious, any kind of thing will not come in.
So are you saying that the unity of Nigeria is not negotiable?
It's negotiable. It's negotiable. Beyond that, I'm saying that to negotiate it does not demand warring or fighting or embarking on any acts that will tamper with the smooth running of the country. No, we can sit down and look at ourselves. What do we have? If you are saying, because he's a kafiri, what has he got to do with his performance on the job? If you say he's a Yoruba man, so we don't like him, what is it that we want him to do? We want him to carry this water from this point to that point. If he can do it, that's fair and good. We can't put 11 blind men as super egos. They're going to knock us down with the raw material we have in Nigeria. I remember a president of Israel saying that if they have the wealth that even Oyo State had, they will beat America. So today I'm trying to tell everybody they should put religion aside, tribal sentiments aside. Let's work as children of the same father called Nigeria. And we get on well.
But how would you see that? You spoke about negotiations or having to talk, and the vice president at some point, went to the different regions, speaking to the leaders or traditional rulers to ensure that there is peace. But is that enough on the part of the government?
More than. Maybe that is his own view. But the general view in Nigeria is that everybody has to be accountable. The judiciary has to do its job. The police have to do their own jobs too, the same way with the anti-corruption drive going on. And so what I see there is that there will be need for the leaders to sit down. Now, I was at a meeting in Ibadan when they called for restructuring. It's not something new. Only what has to happen is that if you are asking for changes, don't be giving baits to surrender your demand. Some people, when they give them envelopes, that's the end. As I'm sitting here, nobody has given me envelope since I started this mission. And I said there's no war in Nigeria. Come what may. Then whether they like it or not, Nigerians will come well. And this person will say, look, Guru, you are not okay, all right. But you can see, gradually Nigerians are coming together. With Buhari on top, maybe with the leaders in the West, here and there. We believe that with APC there, with the leadership of Buhari and Tinubu and the vice president, I believe that Nigeria will move mountains very soon.
Well, another thing I would like to bring in the light of this, still talking about negotiations, is the fact that there was a time that in the Niger Delta there were agitations. That was last year. That in fact there were agitations, and the number of barrels per day dropped to about 1,000 barrels per day in production. And now, after the discussions, there was a ceasefire. And they came with their demand. That's talking about the militants there. And now they're just some days back, they are beginning to say that they are going to end the ceasefire government because the government, that's the federal government, has not been sincere with them. Now, when you look at these negotiations that we have been speaking about, what really, on the part of the government, are we not doing right to ensure that people like this, because we know that the Niger Delta is crucial to our economy, especially for oil?
At least now.
Yes.
Well, just like where they issued an order in the north, by the Arewa group, that Igbos must go. Now, how do you identify an Igbo man from Yoruba or Chekiri, or Takpa, or Ibibio? I came in. So what we have to do now is to hold any leader in those areas responsible. Because agitation for this or that has to be channeled through the proper way. It doesn't matter how long it takes, right? Definitely, if the pipes are blown up, it will affect the price of garri, yam, pepper, and it is the people around there who are going to suffer most. And so we cannot try to kick the tire of a car because the engine has broken down. You might hurt your leg, break your leg. So all I'm telling them that they should be careful. They should not rock my boat.
Who specifically now?
All of them, whether the Arewa boys, the militants, the OPC, APC, whatever the
Group.
so-called groups that are there. They should realize that you cannot achieve this peace by going to war, by destroying something. No, that one should not happen. We cannot go Israel way, American way, British way, where they fight. We are not hungry people. We have enough food. We have enough water. We have everything. We should sit down and talk. Gradually, we'll be able to iron the differences on the ground. I believe that we can do it. And I'm asking, I have said it and I will repeat it again, wherever you are in the world. I have told them that the trouble, the main thing is that, look, we are praying with a lost name or lost names. Maharaji is the name which you use. If you are in your room and your boss is not doing well.
All right. Now, we are not talking religion now. Let's just
I'm not
focus
religious, Mama.
on
Am I giving you a book? I say, I am the father of creation.
All right. We need to just focus on the main issues now.
Right.
And looking at the fact that it's seeming like the Niger Delta, or the militants rather, are trying to hold the country to ransom by saying, we'll blow up, we'll not blow up, and things like that. The government has said it intends to diversify the economy so as to make it vibrant enough.
Yeah.
And then it's looking in the area of agriculture. But when you look at how it is being handled in terms of agriculture, it's more of subsistence farming that we are seeing. Is that enough to make the economy vibrant when we want to diversify? What really should we be looking at?
So many ways. So many things can happen at the same time. But one, how could you put even a French graduate as a Minister of Agriculture? You really missed the point. Just like you asking a reverend to come and tell you about God. He's going to give you a book because he doesn't know where God is. Now, we need power to drive this farming. Yes, processes, if we are really serious. Now, with power now, we just have to do some kind of bringing water nearer to the farmers. Yes, for irrigation purposes. Then secondly, the idea of using fertilizer should be forgotten completely, because that is one of the dangerous ways where the farmers are being threatened. Yes. Imagine if you go to the farms now, the ordinary farmer, local farmer, if you talk to him or her about fertilizer, he's afraid, because after maybe harvesting, the soil will not be okay. And because we believe that the best fertilizer is where there's peace, there's love. So if we are going to go to farming, it's better we go back, even what Chief Awolowo left on the ground, right? That this area should go for palm fruit. Or your state can go for cocoa. Rivers can go for rice. Okay, but not imported ones. We have the local ones to use. And not only that, there's a situation where, most of the loans being given, right, are going to collar farmers, not to the ordinary farmer. The ordinary farmers is going to people who are taking the money in the office.
All right, I have to cut in here. We have a caller on the line. Are you there? Hello, are you there?
Right. The money being given for loans, as loans, is going to people in the offices, not the farmers. Let us ask Nigeria Agricultural Bank. Who and who have they given loans? They are sharing it among themselves. They should tell Nigerians, who are they? Look at workers. There are many graduates working on the road. And I've recommended that they should establish secondary school farms, polytechnic farms, university farms. That's okay. Once they do that, look, now the profits come in, 100%. 50% goes to the government, 25% to the students, right? The remaining 25 to service the administration and overheads here and there. Bingo. There will be no thing like militants, Arewa, this and that. If you see people on the road, you arrest them to the what? Community farm. You see women in the night parading the road, arrest them to the community farm. Hey, the hospital bills will drop. Armed robbery will drop. Hey, you won't see anybody walking here and there because they know that now the government is interested in them. So agriculture, I mean, all this jamboree is nothing. We need a practical thing. People who have the spirit, the love of the ordinary man at heart, so that they go there and say, this is what we want to do. How do you go sit down, make announcement, but in practice, nothing is happening. The money goes back to Switzerland, goes back to London. Imagine somebody minor saying they see 300 million every day in this country, and you are giving him chance to what? Evans, he says he's a what? Kidnapper. And he has been found to have done that. And you are still asking me to go to court. No. Give him justice at home. Take him, give him Babalawo to swear. He will drink and he will talk whatever he has done. If you go there, we waste money that will have been used to train children left and right. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. We are blacks. We don't believe in hanky-panky. We believe in the culture. And the culture is that, show Jali, Abu Jali, Oyagba. They give it to him. He will talk. So that this idea of having lawyers, senior advocate will come and defend here and there, wasting people's time. As if, but yet people are dying every day. On the road, in the kitchen. Look, a director just committed suicide.
Yes.
What for? Nigeria. Hey. So these are the things that agriculture or no agriculture is okay. But it has to be practical, not on the TV and radio. And so there's nothing wrong in having a magazine that will show the list, the number of farmers that have been given loans. Inspector, supervisor will go there. The magazine will be coming on. So you pick up magazine, you know the farmer in Sokoto, the farmer in Calabar. So there will be nobody coming in to come and pick your money. And then you see yourself going around and here and there. Before you talk, they assassinate the person. So definitely we need a practical situation. And that is why I said there's no love. They are not taking this, the lives of the ordinary man. They are not thinking about it, the leaders. Most of them, they are thinking about what they can get. Because they believe that Nigeria must grow. Grow what? Grow to do what? We don't need to grow anywhere.
Really?
The growth is already there if we are sincere to ourselves. That is it, because it's like, it is not when the tree grows, you pour water on under the root. You start, the moment you nurse it, and nurture it, and the moment it starts growing, you leave it. It's just like an aeroplane. The moment it leaves ground, it's okay. So the same way, Nigerians need to be what? Tackled, you know. I mean, the whole matter needs to be tackled with precision.
Okay. We'll take a break now, a short break now, and the discussion continues when we return. Stay with us. Well, you're still watching StandPoint, and we have in the studio still the living perfect master and world teacher, Guru Maharaji. Thank you for your time still.
Blessings and blessings to everyone.
All right, let's go straight to this now. This administration came on board with a lot of lofty promises to Nigerians during the runoff to the 2015 elections. Buhari was seen by many as the long-awaited messiah that would deliver his people from bondage. The bondage of insecurity and corruption. In fact, his policy thrust was tackling insecurity, fixing the economy, and fighting corruption. One of the biggest challenges that has bedeviled this administration is the issue of unity. Well, and we've talked about restructuring and all of that. Now, 2 years into the Buhari administration, his anti-corruption fight seems to have hit the rocks, as almost on a weekly basis, members of his cabinet are accused of alleged corruption. Latest is the Maina saga, as details continue to emerge of how the fugitive pension boss was reinstated into the civil service and even prompted more Nigerians asking the question on the sincerity of the President Buhari anti-corruption fight. Now, how would you evaluate so far, 2 years running now, how this government has handled its anti-corruption fight?
Well, I don't have the information, the correct information, but at least on the area of security and anti-corruption, Nigerians need to give the president and the vice president, and of course the APC party, a chance. At least 4 years now, have gone beyond 2 years. And for the first time, compared with the past government of the Goodluck government, nobody believed that such huge amounts can be stolen. And records have been, are coming out. A lot is coming out. So all Nigerians have to do is to give the present government a chance, but not to keep quiet. We have to keep them on their toes, like the whistleblowers coming out with whatever they see, and for the police to help, indeed the judiciary. And I'm glad that there's a panel by the Judiciary Committee on for anti-corruption judges. How I wish Papa Salami will change his mind, because the appointment is meant to tell the world that he's not what he is.
Well, he had his reservations.
Yeah, well, whatever it is. But if I was him, I would take up. Because like me sitting here, I've been part and parcel on the crusade to bring about a good government. But I'm still standing by the side. They are looking at me that, Guru, does he eat? He eats flowers. I don't eat flowers. I eat anything anybody does, but only I don't eat life, because a goat must not eat a goat. So, anti-corruption is moving. Only we are begging that they should do so with swift action.
All right.
Magu should not sit down. They should go to all groups and crannies everywhere.
All right, quickly, we have Santa on the line calling from Abuja. Go ahead with your contribution.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, my name is Franca Francis.
Okay.
I'm calling from Abuja.
All right, go ahead with your contribution.
My contribution is that I agree to what SatGuru Maharaj just said, because our tradition still remains tradition, despite we practice the white man religion, be it Christianity or Islam. The negligence of our tradition is the reason why we have downfall both politically, even in the religion home. In those days when tradition was tradition, you don't do wrong, because even you already know what the payback will be.
That's it.
All right, Franca. I guess
But you see today now, because of the negligence of tradition, people do things forgetting their conscience.
And they pay for it.
Wrong.
Okay, thank you, Franca, for your contribution. Well, she is falling in line with what you said earlier.
He's telling the truth, because a nation that disconnects from the culture and tradition is already gone. How can you imagine me sitting here? Ogun is on the left, Shogo is on the right. My name is Ogunwanwa Shagundele, and I'm carrying the book that was given by the Oyinbo man who enslaved my great-grandfathers. Definitely is wrong. But with time, gradually, one will come to know that it's always good to read about something. Then you go for the practical aspect of it. And that is why I'm here now.
All right. Okay, so let's go back to our talk on the anti-corruption fight by this present administration. Nigerians have said that we've had about reports of monies being returned and certain monies that were, stolen, so to speak, by certain persons, being retrieved by the EFCC. But Nigerians are saying we are not feeling the impact of all of these monies that you say you are retrieving. We are not seeing what you are using it for, and it is not trickling down to the common man.
Well, we still have to talk to the individuals in government. And that is that the president is the president. We have ministers here and there. There has to be a kind of situation where the ministers will appear on TV or all these town halls once in a year. It does not work, right? So that they will be accountable. The ordinary community, they have individuals, the civic society. We have the Nasima, P-Man, the musicians, the Nollywood people, and all of them have to be represented, not to share the money, but actually to be given a chance to assess, to appraise what they have done. It shouldn't be that I'm a minister and so nobody should come my own way. No, you're a minister, a public servant. We want to know what you are doing, what you are involved with. And so we are in a situation where whatever money that has been returned, I'm begging the federal government not to hide. Those who stole the money, they should publish their name. Imagine you saying that this and that person, officer or minister, is caught for money laundering. We are covering them. No, call him a thief. When you call him a thief, his son will say, Daddy, I saw on TV yesterday that you have been arrested for being a thief. What did you steal? Look, I'm going to change my name. And that will stop them. Money laundering is not a good statement, a good language. You call them thieves because you can see that the money is not there. The money is gone somewhere. But if you say money laundering, they will feel as if you are taking care of them. That is number one.
All right, quickly, we have Charles on the line calling from Abuja. Charles, go ahead with your contribution.
All right. I don't know. Okay, my contribution. I want to talk about involving the youth, like you talked about. All right, thank you. I want to talk about involving the youth. Guru Maharaj talked about. There are lots of ways you can actually involve the youth. Because if you look at what is happening in the country, the youth they are terribly disappointed. Because the change they expected is not what they are having now. But I think Guru Maharaj should come out with a more organized structure on what he can approach the government with and say, okay, this is what we want for our people. Can you please work on this for our people? Since he said he contributed in bringing in the government. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Charles. If you get what he said involving the youth, that if you could come up with maybe a structure to tell the government that this is what and how they should involve the youth.
I have been communicating with all governments since the time of IBB. But because I'm not talking Christianity and Islam, they said, this man, Yaskamo, is going to block us from getting what we want. I believe that one day, Nigerians will come. I've been communicating regularly, constantly. And when you talk about the youths are hungry. Imagine me going to school for 20 good years, a graduate, OND, HND, OM, BSc, and you want me to be walking along the street. Let us use one well in Bayelsa or in Port Guru, one well, oil well, to give them what we call social security. 10,000 or 15,000, they can do it. And the moment we show that goodwill, we find that the oil well will now be producing more. You see, the idea that God does not exist, that we limit ourselves, should not hold sway now. Because if you look at the situation in this country, the indices of war here is not up to 1% of what is going on outside there. And Nigeria is moving together. So all you have to do is take care of them, accommodation and feeding. And not only that, the mothers who have helped to send this train to school, running up and down, selling bread, selling kerosene, selling firewood, they need to be taken care of.
All right. And okay. I just want, because we are running out of time gradually, so I just want to quickly touch on a subject that is also similarly important right now. In less than 2 years, we'll be looking at another election. And, individuals have come out to show their interests, and some are yet to even show their interests, even though there are somewhat speculations. But then, from what you have seen, what are your projections for 2019?
2019, if you can't take care of today, you can't take care of tomorrow. I believe that, according to the law, this is not the time for election campaigns. Yes, according to the INEC law. And so for those who are there, they're the same people recycling. This is the time they should give room for independent candidates. Oh yeah, because enough is enough. We should ask all of them to account. How did you come about this wealth? So all I'm asking all the ministers since the past 20 years should give 50% of what they have to the government, to the people of Nigeria.
And you think that is feasible?
It can be done, Otherwise, I don't think anything can work. There's no money. If we want to borrow, let's borrow. But I am saying this, that look, after all, there are presidents in other countries who, even after leaving, they didn't have what? A home of their own. So 50% of their wealth, they should give it to what? To the government. And this money that they are going to give, they should be given the kind of projects that have to be executed so that the money can go direct there. And not only that, how can you say Nigerian roads, you need outsiders? We have enough engineers. Nigerian bridges, you are using outsiders. We have engineers in this country. And this is something that has to be done. Otherwise, they should forget about 2019. An engineer is a Nigerian, he can do well, more than even an European. A Chinese, imagine Nigeria today. We are having what we call substandard electrical equipment. How did they pass through the border? And the custom man is there. He is there. He cannot do it. Sack him. Bring somebody there. Whether he's a director, you do it. Sack him. Bring somebody else. When Super Eagles didn't perform last time, they brought in a new coach. Abi, if this one too goes raw, he has to go for a new one to come in. We cannot sit down. Matters that affect the ordinary man on the street, we use sentiments, emotions. No way. This is where, whether elections, I don't see that way. Changes must take place between now and the end of the year as we enter 2018. The president must sit up. One.
Hold on. Before you continue, we have a caller from Kaduna. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Hello. Go ahead.
My name is Alutu Slim.
All right. Go ahead with your contribution.
Okay, my contribution is that what Guru Maharaj just said about publicizing of the looters, that's the best. When you publish it, at least their children will know the kind of job their dad is into. And you know that it will touch the conscience of their parents. If the cry of Nigerians cannot touch their hearts, that of their kids would surely touch their hearts. We all have conscience, irrespective of the religion we practice. They should publicize the name and for Nigerians to know who they are to support. Because most of us, we are blind supporters. We don't really know who we are supporting. We only support them because of what they said from their mouth. But their real true attributes, we can't tell.
All right, thank you for your contribution. Now, before the caller came on, you were trying to, enumerate what the president should do and as quickly as possible.
Whatever it is, Mr. President, there needs to be change of hands in his ministers. So ministers have to be changed.
Now, he has talked about cabinet reshuffle.
Right, it has to be done. And the reshuffling should not be on federal character. Let's speak from the society, those who can perform, who can do the job. It doesn't matter, even every 4 months, let's change to bring it somewhere. And there's one thing again, and that is that we should now sit down and map up a program for the next 40 or 50 years so that any new government that comes in will follow it, not come and bamboozle it or blow the whole thing down and start again. Where do we have it? We have to be cohesive, right? So today, whether they are right or not right, I am telling them that the anti-corruption drive that is going on should not be sectional. There was this case of integrity politicians in the assembly where Papa Otedola was able to, arrest one of them. Where is that man? Is the case still thrown in the dustbin of life? No, he has to come out. They claim to be holier than thou. Here he was caught up. I don't say he did or he didn't do it, but at least the case should not be left for years. We say justice delayed, justice denied. The justice is not for that person, but for those of, like the Mama said, If you now say so and so stole this amount, the children will actually fight their fathers. And those who are planning to do it, will stop. But I know very well that today, anybody who is going to take up the job of a director general, at least from that position, level 12 or 13, he should be given Ogun or Shango or Egbesu to swear. You find out that thieving, stealing will not be there anymore.
All right. You mentioned some things that I'd like to point out. You talked about the president has to, move swiftly in terms of his anti-corruption fight and in terms of his cabinet reshuffle to ensure that the promises made before they came into power are brought to life or light, if I translate it properly.
Yeah.
Now, I am asking, if he doesn't do that, could that affect the party in 2019?
The party, is headed by Papa Tinubu APC, very dynamic leader. The president came in order to just unseat the corrupt government of the past. And so he has to imbibe the culture of APC to be straightforward, sincere, and dynamic. Because if you look at APC now, they say 50% of the positions are being taken by the same group who smuggled their way into APC from PDP. The same people who rocked PDP down. Okay, so today, whatever it is, we are learning every day. But we have to understand that the world is changing. With Maharaj in our midst, the right thing must be done at the right time now. And that is that they should not ignore court orders. 2, the public debate that is going on. They confirm, even though the Goodluck government was corrupt, and the fact that the confirm report we are being told were touched, but there are some elements there that can be used, like state police. There's no way they must give state police. Otherwise, the government is joking. Yes. 2, there must be a kind of control over people going abroad for medical treatment. Imagine Aisha, my darling mother, and First Lady, mentioned that there's a clinic in the presidency where there are no
State House Clinic.
There are no tablets, there's nothing that will help. And not only that, they cannot even identify under whose supervision the clinic was made. So you can imagine that there will be a police checkpoint there without their knowledge of the government.
All right, quickly, we have another caller on the line from Bielsa. Are you there? All right, I guess you'll call back as soon as you can. You can go ahead.
Yes, like I said, we are in a situation where our no must be no. The president should not give 3 weeks, 4 weeks before addressing the issue of Bashir that was sacked. Once somebody is fingered, he should leave way. Let somebody act. The moment is like coming, then we are moving forward. If a player is injured on the floor, you cannot say we should go with 10 players. Somebody must come in. Tomorrow you call the Sultan to come and pray, the Archbishop come and pray. Like there's a case where the current leader is saying the Sukuk loan is to Islamize Nigeria. Now, what we are told is that the Sukuk loan is for any Nigerian who wants money. Now, if you go there and present your land and the loan is given, the moment you are ready to settle and you pay for it, they will have now to renegotiate on your land. No, it doesn't mean that they want to take over the whole place. We are not against any loan, but we are saying that it should not come with the face of religion.
All right.
Yeah, it should not come with the face of enslaving my conscience. The religion of the Creator is love. Being able to perform wonderfully well, not because I have to put my head down, pray this and that. No, the best prayer is to be good.
Okay, quickly, we have Precious on the line calling from Lagos. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, I'd like to thank Guru Maharaj for coming on this show.
Kabiesiu.
Hello, Guru Maharaj.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, your contribution has been very insightful. And I'm sure some of the things that you have pointed out in terms of practical solutions can be taken up by these very governments if only they want to exercise the political will that is made available to them. It is true that Nigerian youth are suffering. You have a lot of graduates everywhere. There is no program that has been put in place, you know, on a national scale to continue to engage the youth in terms of their discipline, their field of study. We are aware of the agriculture. Everybody cannot go to agriculture, that's the truth. I'm a leader of a group. I represent Youth Empowering African Movement with a practical solution. So if we can identify all the solutions that we need for Nigeria. Nigeria is a big country. Nigeria can compete with Americans on equal scale if we are able to harness all the availability of our resources and human capital.
All right,
that
Precious,
we have.
thank you for your contribution. Thank you so much. Well, quickly, I must ask you this question. Democracy is all about vibrant, let's say, opposition, so to speak. And so far, after 2015, the PDP had internal crisis that seemed to, you know, pull the party apart, and it has tried to bring it, you know, put itself together again. How would you say it is or has repositioned itself to become a vibrant opposition as we look towards 2019?
Well, for me, as far as I know, before even now, I'm disappointed by the performance of the PDP government, because it did not take interest of Nigeria, the aspirations of Nigerians and the black people. In fact, most of them, they did not read history about post-independent Africa. They are just down, eat, drink, party, that's all. So we need a new leadership, a new partnership, people who, maybe let us go to the crooks and crannies, bring out all these farmers, like in Japan.
But they don't have money to, you know, contest the elections.
Yeah, okay. Let me say it this way. The opposition they are having now is just, they are fighting, shouting, because now all the mess they put up are being exposed. If they look that way, then they have not learned their lesson. I think that best, because I am here, they need to come out. Look, this is how far I have stolen. And I have recommended it to the government that whoever comes out, they should take the money, right, and give him a service to do, like build schools, build colleges, build roads. You cannot, like the banking system, it's fraudulent. Banks are not to trade. The banks are to involve in what? Heavy infrastructures, partnership with the people, because the bank is owned by the people, and the people own the bank. So you can see a situation where there's no opposition. The opposition is going the other way. I expect a position that will list out the list of projects showing the mistake they made while they were there, and asking them, because we are all Nigerians. Opposition is meant to tell you, hey, wake up. That's all. It's not enemy to shoot or lie against, or imagine a politician, a former minister, or even a president or governor, or going out to say something, and then next minute he retracts. I am sorry for what I've said. Oh my goodness. Africa needs new men, new hands. And I believe that until that happens, the government will be changing until we get there.
Africa needs new hands, and until that happens, we are still struggling. That is what you mean. So how can Nigerians now use this opportunity to say that 2019 is coming? We don't want to struggle anymore. We need people who can really represent our interest.
Yes, you know, the House of Assembly was put there by the military, having the majority. So any positive thing, any good reasonable bill, thing, or any good bill that wants to be passed, they will object to it. But then there's a saying, there's no way on truth suffering goes on one day, it will change. So what we see is in now is a situation where they should make a law for independent candidates to come up, right? We need technocrats, theocrats, and men of integrity, not this person because he has money, he goes to the State of Assembly. No, we must check on where has he been. You see, and not only that, we want a situation where the assembly should not be full-time, it should be part-time. for men who have made it in society, who can be seen to have done very well. These are the people who can sit down and think, not somebody even who doesn't know how to sign his name. There are some who don't even know what is the capital of Ondo State. And he's a member of a parliament, he's a member of the House of Assembly. There are some who don't know how many Nigerians are living in what? Ethiopia.
We have to leave the discussion at this point because we have run out of time. But I must thank you, Living Perfect Master and Real Teacher, Guru Maharaji, for your time on the program.
My blessings.
And that's how we wrap up the show today. Thanks so much for watching. But remember that you can watch a repeat of this edition tomorrow by 7 a.m. on the same channel. I'm Veronica Danny Boy. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yep.